President Trump comes into office. First thing he does in 2017, massive tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. The GOP tax scam. 83% of the benefits going to the wealthiest 1% in America, explodes the deficits. How dare you lecture America about fiscal responsibility?
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, April 26, 2023. Welcome to day 827. U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts declined to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee about the court's ethics practices, calling such testimony exceedingly rare for what he called mundane matters. Instead, Roberts released a statement that was meant to provide new clarity to the public about the court's ethics principles and practices. The statement said that all 9 justices reaffirm and restate foundational ethics principles and practices to which they subscribe in carrying out their responsibilities as Supreme Court justices. The committee had planned to hold a hearing to examine common-sense proposals to hold Supreme Court justices to the same ethical standards as the rest of the federal judiciary after it was reported that Justice Clarence Thomas did not disclose several luxury trips he received from a Republican megadonor. Meanwhile, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch neglected to disclose details of a nearly $2 million sale of property to the CEO of a prominent law firm in 2017. While Gorsuch did note on his federal disclosure forms that he made between $250,000 and $500,000 on the sale, which occurred 9 days after he was confirmed to a lifetime position on the Supreme Court by the Senate, Gorsuch left the identity of the purchaser blank. The purchaser was Brian Duffy, CEO of Greenberg Traurig, one of the nation's largest law firms that has appeared in at least 22 cases before the Supreme Court since Gorsuch joined in April 2017. Gorsuch sided with Greenberg Traurig clients 8 times out of the 12 that Gorsuch recorded an opinion. Meanwhile, a bipartisan group of senators introduced legislation that would require the Supreme Court to implement a code of conduct. The court is the only branch of government that doesn't have one. The bill would require the court to establish its own code of conduct within 1 year and make it publicly available, and to appoint someone to handle any complaints of potential violations. Senator Angus King, one of the bill's sponsors, said it's pitiful that we're having to introduce this bill. It's pathetic that the Supreme Court hasn't done this itself. The Supreme Court Code of Conduct Act is a common-sense step to restore and maintain faith in the High Court by requiring the creation of consistent, transparent rules like the ones that apply to every other federal judge across our democracy. The other 2 branches of government already have codes of conduct. It is only reasonable the full judiciary should as well. Moving on, the House of Representatives passed a GOP bill that would cut federal spending and roll back Biden's top legislative accomplishments in exchange for a 1-year increase to the U.S. debt ceiling. The plan was approved 217 to 215 along party lines and would cut federal spending by nearly 14% over a decade, repeal Biden's climate change tax credits, as well as his student loan cancellation plan. It would impose strict new work requirements for those seeking welfare, and it would expand mining and fossil fuel production. The Limit, Save, Grow Act of 2023, however, has no chance of passing in the Democratic-controlled Senate. The White House promised not to budge on negotiations over the debt limit, saying that Congress should raise the ceiling without conditions. Biden said, "I'm happy to meet with McCarthy, but not on whether or not the debt limit gets extended. That's not negotiable." And finally, E. Jean Carroll, in her civil lawsuit accusing Trump of battery and defamation, testified that "I'm here because Donald Trump raped me." In 2019, Carroll alleged that Trump sexually assaulted her in the dressing room at a luxury department store in the mid-1990s. Trump denied the allegation and called Carroll a liar, saying the incident never happened and calling her case a hoax, scam, lie, and complete con job. Carroll then sued Trump for battery over the alleged rape, as well as for defamation over his claims that she made up the story. For about 3.5 hours today, Carroll detailed the alleged incident on the witness stand. "He lied and shattered my reputation," Carroll said, "and I'm here to try and get my life back." Trump, meanwhile, posted on his personal social media network that the lawsuit was a made-up scam and accused Carroll's attorney of being a political operative. The judge overseeing the trial called the posts entirely inappropriate and warned that Trump could be tampering with a new source of potential liability. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.
And also, I'd like to point out by the emojis, by your name here, it looks like you're more of a political activist than anything. Clearly, unfortunately, you think Ukraine comes before the United States. I'm not sure what the black flex is. I mean, is that digital blackface?
Digital blackface?